Hello there everybody, it is me XFreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So today we're speed building a house called the SuburBarn Farmhouse. You guys see what I did there? I tried, kill me now. Anyway, this is a build inspired by the recently released Sims 4 Parenthood game pack. However, this was built last week before the game pack was released, so Parenthood will not be required for this build. There is, however, a good 5 bedrooms in this home, so it is perfect for you guys to use in your Parenthood gameplay if you guys have any. Also, the house tour for this is going to be filmed using the Autumn mod by, I'm not sure who it was, but I'm using a mod to film the outros and the intro and basically the house tour video. However, the mod itself will not be required for you guys to download this. I'm just trying to clear out some potential confusion, so you guys don't have to worry. As per usual, the way I do things, this is a 100% completely custom content free build. So yeah, anyway, as you guys can see, we are speed building this in Windenburg, and I decided to go and have a more of a farmhouse inspiration. For a while now, I've actually been thinking of doing a build that looked good in the fall season, since I've done a couple in the winter time, and I thought that a farmhouse would look really good in the fall, you know, harvest moon and stuff like that. I feel like I've also been kind of like subconsciously influenced by a little game called Stardew Valley, which I have been playing like a lot this past week. And that's probably why I ended up, you know, building a farmhouse. So, also a really interesting coincidence because a really good friend of mine, Fry, otherwise known as Simproved here on YouTube, is also building a farmhouse. So you guys should check out her channel. There is a link to her in my suggested YouTubers and stuff. You guys already know her. I don't even know why I'm talking. Yeah, you guys already know Simproved, but she also did a farmhouse, and surprisingly both our farmhouses look a lot different, but I'm really happy that, I don't know, it's just a really interesting coincidence that happened that both of us ended up building a farmhouse for our Parenthood inspired build. So yes, this originally was supposed to be a more modern farmhouse. As you guys can see, there's a lot of like modern windows and doors and things like that. I wanted to kind of initially make it look like it was like a barn that was renovated and kind of modernized and stuff like that. However, you guys will see in just a little bit that I will actually change my mind with that. As per usual, I don't really edit out that much of my build, so you guys can actually see the whole process from start to finish of how this build evolved from my original concept of having kind of like a modern barn house into kind of like a more traditional contemporary farmhouse for the family. So it's gonna be a really interesting transition, and yeah, that's also why this build is a little bit longer, because I did consider editing out the parts, this first couple of minutes of the video where I was trying to do another style. However, I feel like some of you guys might be interested in seeing the whole process from start to finish, and just, you know, some people might be interested to see how the build itself evolved from my initial idea until what I eventually came up with. Because even though it is the same house, like I kept the shape of it, I just turned it around and changed the windows and stuff, it looks so different. It has an entirely different attitude from how I initially imagined it, and I actually really like the finished product a lot more than my initial idea. So once again, I always mention this in my speed builds because for me personally, when I'm not satisfied with a build, I will go through the lengths and go through the extra effort to actually just, you know, change the build itself and just renovate it, modify it, just move it to a different lot. I'll do everything I can to make it the best possible build, and that is exactly what we're doing right now, because the farmhouse that we had at first, it wasn't bad, right? It's like a pretty nice mediocre build, but it didn't feel like what I wanted like, it felt a little bit too it felt a little bit too basic and safe. So I just went like, I don't know, I just went full throttle with this one and just went full on farmhouse. Also, the reason why I decided to actually just spin the building and choose the side as the front instead is because the side elevation of the building, or the shape of the side, you guys can see, is actually really interesting. You know, it's 3 levels, and I don't know, it's just really interesting with the shapes and with the different roof angles, and I think it looks really nice. Eventually, I will put some some columns on the corners, which makes it look like a legit barn. So I think everything really came together. And I'm really, really happy that I did choose to change it from my initial idea, because it looks like literally 10 times better than, you know, my initial concept for it. So I'm really happy with that. And that happens a lot with my builds as well. Like, I'm never satisfied and I keep changing my mind, which is also the reason why my builds are probably like, I don't know, a really long build, like 30 to 40 minutes, but I'm pretty sure y'all are used to it. I don't really like to edit the build that much. I try to keep in as much content as possible. I feel like it's really important for some people to really see the whole process. So I do try to make an effort to actually show that for you guys. So I don't really do that many red buildings. I feel like I might have done maybe 1 or 2, a traditional red, like red wood paneling on a build, but I'm really happy that I was able to do that in this one, because of course it's a farm. So, you know, you have to, I mean, you can probably change it, but I feel like for this one, it's just natural for me to choose to have like red, because it's just literally barn. Literally barn? What is that sentence? But yeah, there you go. You guys can see that I am now placing the columns on the corners, and they do actually change the look and they make it like 10 times better. So yay. So for the doors and windows, I did go for something that's a little bit more traditional, but I think it still looks really contemporary. You know, it doesn't quite look like a legit barn from like 100 years ago. You guys get what I mean? It does look very contemporary as well. And I did something different with the windows here. I actually got this from a really popular builder called Ruthless_KK. Y'all know her, but she does this thing where she uses these windows that have closed shutters, and she puts them on the edges of like a series of windows, and it basically looks like just shutters and stuff. So I really like doing that technique, and you know, I just felt like I had to give her credit for that, because you know, credit where credit is due. We actually don't have separate shutters in The Sims 4, so usually I never really think about, you know, putting them in windows, because in The Sims 3 you had the option to actually put shutters on windows, whether you wanted them to, or if you didn't want to, you can just take them away. You know, you can actually place them as a separate item, but we don't have that in The Sims 4, but that's okay. That's okay. We do have a good selection of traditional contemporary windows, so I'm really, really happy with that. Also, the return of the garage is back. You guys will see later on that the garage actually becomes kind of like a workshop slash storage area. This is designed to be a farm after all, so I wanted to have a space where we can keep like the crates and stuff, and like, I don't know, also a workshop, because I felt like having the woodworking table is so, it's just so beneficial to have the woodworking table, because your Sims can earn a lot of money from it. So, you know, maybe whoever lives here can, you know, can like have woodworking as a hobby. And speaking of whoever lives here, I have a really interesting story that I came up with actually. But before I talk about that, you guys will see that I actually use a variety of different windows here, and I really like it because it kind of gave this house a little bit more of like a rustic feeling. I don't know, it feels a little bit more rustic and kind of almost like ethnic, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, it's more of like a vernacular barn, like, I don't know, in Eastern Europe or something like that. Because I don't know, I really, really liked how I used like the circular windows. on the roof, and also that one kind of interesting looking window with like the red wooden accents in one dormer window. I really like how it looked. So back to the story of whoever lives here. Obviously a family lives here, and this house is basically designed to house a family of, let's see here, 6 Sims basically. So each person has their own personalized bedroom. Some kids do share their own bedrooms as well with others. And also there is an extra 5th bedroom as a guest bedroom, because I feel like that's really important. If you have like an extended family staying over, maybe an uncle or a spinster relative or maybe a grandparent, they can stay on that guest bedroom. Actually, anyway, anyone can stay in that guest bedroom. If you choose to have your Sims, have more kids, they can stay in that bedroom. So yay for that. But anyway, like, I keep interrupting myself, but like I was saying, the people who live here are actually a couple, and they have a very special reason for choosing to live in a barn house. They actually got married here, cause a couple of years ago, this barn house was actually, like a wedding venue, where couples could rent for the day and have their ceremony and have their reception. So this is a very special place where our couple actually got married. However, when they found out that the barn house was gonna be for sale and gonna be demolished, they decided to take action and just buy it for themselves and convert it into their house. So, I really like that story because I feel like it gives a lot of character to the house itself. That's why it looks the way it is. It's because it's kind of like a converted barn where our couple had their wedding ceremony a couple of years ago, and now that they have good lives, now that they have stable jobs, and now that they have a big family, they decided to just, purchase this very, special place for themselves and try to really uphold the history that it represents for them personally as a couple. And I really, really like that. So yeah, we are now working on the kitchen, and the kitchen has a mainly kind of like, I don't know, yellow wallpaper and kind of like, red wood, color scheme, I guess. I really like how the kitchen turned out. It's a huge kitchen, which should be expected because this is a house for like 6 or more Sims. I believe you can probably fit in like, I don't know, like 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 Sims actually. Yeah, you can comfortably fit in 8 Sims. I did have a nursery as well. So you're probably gonna have to renovate. No, actually not a nursery, a toddler's bedroom. I stand corrected, but yeah, anyway, back to the kitchen. There is also kind of like a little dining area that I wanted to incorporate because I don't know, I just felt like it was nice to have like that nice little breakfast nook where our couple could probably like, have their own breakfast in private and all that good stuff. So this large room right here is going to be the great room, and this is going to be where the main living room / dining room is going to be. Well, the formal dining room, because there is a breakfast area as well. But I really, really like this. This room like epitomizes the idea of making everything like look traditional, if you guys get what I mean. So I really, really like it. Also, the people who live here are not really... They're not really like, they're not really poor. I mean, they're like middle class people, if you guys get what I mean. Like, I imagine the wife to be a gardener or like a farmer. She's the one who's really passionate about the crops and stuff, while the husband has a little bit more of, kind of like a blue collar or white collar. I could not tell the difference, but I imagine the husband to be like a doctor or something. Honestly, that's literally what I was thinking. So yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a mix of like kind of farm themed furniture and also really traditional and almost luxurious furniture as well, if you guys get what I mean. So there are quite a few kind of like antiques here, and I feel like they really contribute to the farm look of the place, So yeah, I love that one sofa actually. It's a sofa that you have to unlock, unfortunately. So I never really get to use it that much, but that sofa looks really, really comfortable. And now that I've seen all the stuff from the Parenthood game pack, I'm just like, wow, the sofas in that are amazing, you guys. Like, I did a review / first impression video on Parenthood, and I was so impressed by all of the new furniture items. Like, I was just blown away. I love the style of Parenthood, and I really, really like it. Yeah, so there we go. We have a really large dining table that can also sit 8 people, and it is just right there, right next to the living room. Pretty awesome. That's kind of like the idea of a great room anyway. You know, a great room is usually a combination of like a living room, dining room, and even a kitchen. But in this case, the great room is just the living room and dining room. But it's usually, the great room is kind of like a technical term that we use in architecture to refer to, like, you know, a combination of living room, dining room, and kitchen. But yeah, anyway, I'm still gonna consider this a great room, even though it doesn't necessarily have a kitchen in it. Whatever. I haven't read anywhere that a great room requires a kitchen, so yeah. So right now we are working on the guest bedroom, and as per usual, what I usually do with my guest bedrooms is just to keep everything as neutral as possible. And yeah, it actually turned out really well. I discovered this technique where I was kind of like layering the curtains. Putting like shorter curtains on top of these longer ones, and they look really good. Once again, they look a little bit luxurious, but yeah, that's kind of like the point anyway. So I was really happy that I discovered that actually. I think somebody recommended that when I was live streaming. Somebody told me like, oh, you put this one curtain on top of this other one. And I was just like, what? How does that work? I didn't figure it out that time. But yeah, anyway, I was glad I was able to incorporate that in this build. And right now we are finally working on the second floor over here. So the second floor actually has 4 bedrooms. There is a separate kind of area over there above the garage that's gonna have like a separate teen bedroom. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm actually really surprised at how many bedrooms I was able to fit into this build. So as you guys might have guessed, we are now working on the master bedroom, and actually the master bedroom's a little bit different from the rest because for the other bedrooms, especially like downstairs and for the other bedrooms, like I mainly used kind of warm color schemes, but for the master bedroom, I did decide to use cooler tones just to give it a little bit more of variety as well. And also, once again, keeping in with the kind of like traditional / contemporary look. I used a lot of blues and also whites as well for the accents, and also some black touches of black textures and materials and stuff, and it actually turned out really nice as well. I don't really use this one bed that came with vintage glamour stuff that much because I felt like it looked too I don't know, it felt a little bit too luxurious usually, and I usually do suburban homes, so I usually avoid very, very luxurious things in my suburban homes. But I was able to use that for this one because I felt like it really matched the feel that I was going for. And it looked really nice. It looked really nice in that white color. And I like the bedspread as well. I like how the bedspread's like kind of bluish, gray, if you guys get what I mean. So I really like that. I also did try to incorporate, a dresser as well, because I usually never use dressers. I keep forgetting that they even exist. I feel like the dressers really don't have any functionality other than, you know, automatically giving makeup on your sim, but I don't really like the makeup options on the dressers, so I don't really use them that much. I have used them in a previous build though, but I did try to fit in a dresser, but it doesn't fit, so I did choose to put like a cabinet, like an armoire, a wardrobe instead, because I feel like, you know, I feel like the wardrobe looks a little bit better. And since this is the master bedroom, which is going to be used by both the man and the woman, I felt like having the wardrobe is kind of like the more, gender neutral choice. Also, by the dresser, I meant vanity. I call them dresser, but I understand that in other countries in the United States, you guys probably call them vanity. So vanity Smurf. Oh my gosh, so random. Anyway. Right now we are working on the toddler's bedroom, and I don't really make many toddler bedrooms, so it was quite a struggle to figure out what I wanted to do with this one, but I did eventually go for kind of like a cooler color scheme as well, similar to the master bedroom, and also stick with this kind of theme. There is a recurring theme actually with like all of the toddler items and just the kids items in general. The color swatches actually match. Like, it's amazing how many items have like matching color swatches, and I'm really happy that they do match. Like, all of the wood in this room matches. Like, look at that, for the bed, for the side table, for the closet thing, for the toy thing. I like how they match, and I'm just like, yes, the perfectionist in me is like really pleased, so yay for that. But yeah, I never really do that many toddler bedrooms, so it was quite a struggle to figure out this one, but I think it turned out really well in the end. There are gonna be some changes, like I'm gonna be changing the wallpaper as well into something that's a little bit more kid-like, if you guys get what I mean. So yeah. And of course, placing in a nightlight, because when I was a kid, and even until now, believe it or not, you guys, I still sleep with the light on because I don't know, it's just really scary. I have a really wild imagination, so I you know, even if nothing's really there, I just creep myself out. I'm creeping myself out right now. But yeah, I also forgot that there are a bunch of like toddler specific items, like the potty bowl and also the high chair as well, so I made sure I placed those. And extra claps though for EA for actually giving us matching color swatches for like almost all of the kids and toddler items. I'm really happy with that. And right now we are working on the kids' bedroom. Now there is going to be 2 single beds in this bedroom, and I imagine twins actually staying in that bedroom, so yeah. Once again, it took me a while to figure out what I really wanted. This bedroom had a particularly strange layout because of the shape of the room itself. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But it turned out really nicely. I really like how it did turn out in the end. And it's gonna have kind of like a predominantly purpley gray color scheme. So yeah, I really like it. There's also like a very sporty / nerdy aesthetic to this as well. So yeah, you guys will see kind of like some sports posters and stuff. I do like to personalize all the different bedrooms that I have in my builds. So yeah, yeah, I do take the time to personalize them. I also found it really tricky to actually find a rug that worked in this area. So yeah, I feel like I've gone through like 10 million rugs just to find the right one, but I know that I did find the right one later on, so yay for that. And of course, I had to incorporate some like some kid related items as well. So there is a toy box. I'm not even sure if the kids can use that actually, but I feel like they can, so yeah. And also the arts table as well. I don't really know what you call that, but it's kind of like the artistic table for the kids, and I also incorporated that as well. And there we go with like some posters and stuff. Once again, there's kind of like some nerd themed stuff. There's also like some science-y themed stuff, I'm pretty sure. So and also some sports themed stuff as well. So yeah. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm not sure if this is the final wallpaper. I feel like it is the final wallpaper. So yeah, I didn't go overboard with the wallpapers. You know, I just went with something that's a little bit more subtle, because sometimes the wallpapers can get kind of outrageous. So I did go for something that's slightly more subtle because I wanted to go for something that was quite realistic for this one. So I'm really happy actually. I feel like there's gonna be another rug. I'm not sure though. Yeah, there might be none. So yeah, anyway. I feel like I also changed the flooring on that room into carpeting. Yeah, I did that off camera actually, where I changed the flooring of some of the bedrooms for the kids into carpets because I just felt like I've seen enough of this beautiful, like, rich red wood flooring. As much as I love it, I felt like we need some flooring varieties. So yeah. This is a rare occurrence, actually. I actually forgot to edit this out, but we are now looking at me furnishing one of the hallways. And usually I would edit out this footage just because I want everything to be really, like, compact and all that stuff. But, you know, once in a while, there's stuff that, you know, it's okay to see them. So yay for that. That was just a random clip that was included there. So yeah. And now it looks like we are going to be working on the last bedroom in this house. And this is kind of like a teen's bedroom. I specifically made a bedroom separate from the main house because this teenager really, really likes her music. And she does have a guitar, I believe. And her bedroom has kind of like this peachy salmon pink, I don't even know what that color is, kind of pinkish gray color scheme. I really like it. And that kind of like table lamp that came with bowling stuff. Ooh, that came with bowling stuff is really nice. I think it has like a nice pattern and has nice accents and stuff. I accidentally like exited the game right there if you guys saw that just a second ago, but really weird. Sometimes I accidentally press like the wrong icons on my keyboard, but that's okay. Also, I did pile in the rugs in this room. There's like 3 rugs. There's like 2 rectangular ones and there's like 1 swirly circular one. I don't know. I felt like I really wanted to make this room like very messed up, if that makes any sense. Like very like I don't even know what word to describe it, but I wanted this room to look like she doesn't really take care of it. Like she's too lazy to do anything. She's too lazy to do chores. She just wants to hang out with her friends, go to the mall, vlog, or just listen to her radio or listen to music and play her own music as well. So yeah. I think this room definitely represents her personality really well. And since she likes to play music, I think it does make sense that she has the separate room because, she wouldn't then be able to disturb everybody else in the house if she keeps playing until like 2 a.m. So yeah. And it looks like I am switching out the rugs here. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this room right here is kind of like the den. I don't really know what to call this room. It's kind of like the hangout for the kids. This room does have a console. There is also a TV and a console on the ground level, on the living room, but I didn't show that because I edited that off camera. But this is another kind of like den area. It's kind of like a more informal living area, if that makes any sense. So yeah, there's a console and there is also a computer. I forgot to mention it, but there's only 1 computer in this entire house, which I don't really see it as a big deal. I feel like we can just always say that the kids have their laptops instead. So, but there is a computer in case your Sims would need it. So, yeah. Anyway, right now we are finally working on the outside and there are gonna be 2 fields of crops in this. Unfortunately, there aren't real crops. They're just plants that you can find in build by mode, but they still work. They're still pretty convincing to look at. Like, you can still kind of get the whole farm aesthetic and it does feel like a legitimate farm just by looking at it. And the fields are a little bit on the smaller side because I did choose a smaller lot for this one. But I think they're fine, I feel like these are kind of like the smaller crops and like the other crops that need like larger spaces are just somewhere else. So yeah, I don't even know. Here's the thing, you guys. My family owns a farm, okay? We have a farm. We have a rice farm. And right next to it, we have kind of like a tree orchard with like different types of trees, like mangoes and stuff. But I don't really know how it works. So rice farming is actually really different from farming other crops like cabbages and, I don't know, like beans and stuff, but whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but yeah, yeah, that there goes the one field, and then the other one is going to be kind of like a cabbage field, to be honest. These look like, oh, actually, you know what? These look so much like cauliflower, so I take it back. Not cabbage, cauliflower. I don't know, these plants, when you actually enlarge them, they do look like legitimate cauliflowers, so yay. I really like it. And when you're looking at it, they actually look like legit vegetables. So I really, really like that. I'm surprised that I actually haven't done many farms in The Sims 4, because I remember such a nostalgic feeling when The Sims 2 Seasons was first released in 2006. That was the time when I was really, I think 2006 or 2005, I'm not sure. But that was the time when I was really becoming a huge fan of The Sims, and that was the time when I was really starting to take it seriously. I was like 12, but I remember being on the Sims resource and just seeing like so many farmhouses for the Sims 2 Seasons, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, one day I'm gonna be building my own farm in the Sims 4 as well, or like in future Sims. So farm buildings are definitely something that I love to do. I feel like I've never said this enough, but I love playing farming simulation games, Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys would know that there is a story about me and Stardew Valley. So I am starting to not be able to talk right now. So I'm beginning to feel like it's almost the end of the video. I hope, because I'm getting tired. I've been talking for like 30 minutes. But anyway, that kind of like greenhousey area, it's not really a greenhouse. It's kind of like a covered kind of like area thing. That was supposed to be kind of like the garden, tool area, if you guys get what I mean. That was like where you would keep your tools for gardening and stuff. My mom loves to garden. She loves to arrange flowers and stuff. So I always see like there's always like a table somewhere with like all her tools, like all of her pails and shovels and all that stuff. So, and her gloves. So yeah. Also, this is a really weird addition to a farmhouse, but I have a pool and it's not the biggest pool in the world, but it is a good size. You guys are probably thinking that that's a really small pool, but it's really not. Just the proportions of it are a little bit small, but it is a good sized pool. The Sims can use it really well, and I don't know, I feel like we really need it. I was contemplating on using that one like water slide thing. I don't know what it's called. It's the thing that came with like backyard stuff. It's like the thing that you slide on. I don't know what those are called, but I wanted to put those in, but those are so huge. Like, it's crazy big. I'm just like, nope, not gonna put this. Those are so big. I wish we had smaller versions of them. We have 2 of those items, but both are so big. I'm just like, nope. We don't have space for that. But yeah, the pool area turned out really well. I didn't really put a lot of effort into it, like, to be honest, because I don't know, I feel like the focus of this entire thing is the farming aspect and the farming kind of like character. Yes, the farming character of the entire house. So I didn't really focus too much on everything else. You guys will see some little kind of some little Easter eggs, I guess, that do hint of this as a farmhouse. I don't even know why we need Easter eggs, because literally it is a farmhouse, but on the inside there are some decorative items like the chickens, and I think there's a bunny or somewhere. I think there's also like a pig sculpture ceramic thing, and yeah, I feel like those also kind of like establish the fact that this is a farmhouse. So yeah, I think it turned out really well. So now we're just laying out these planter boxes, and they will be filled in with plants off camera. I will include, though, me choosing the trees, because I feel like the trees are really important. So yeah, I will fill those up with trees in this video, but the rest of the landscaping, like filling up with all the different plants and stuff, will be done off camera, unfortunately, because I had to edit it out because the video was just getting too long. And yeah, granted, this is a 5-bedroom house, so it is a pretty practical place to live in. It has the farming character. It has great space for, you know, raising kids and, you know, just living life in the countryside. So I think it's a pretty practical house. My only regret, not really regret, but I only wish that I was more kind of faster at building, because I'm so slow at building. So yeah, unfortunately that's just how slow I am, but I don't think so. I feel like as slow as I am, and I do admit it, I do take a lot of time to really make my builds as best as it possibly is. And I know that a lot of people are like, you know, shut up, you talk too much, or like, your builds are too long, I don't have time for this. I get those kind of comments, and I'm just like, well, I love what I'm doing, so I think that's the only thing that matters, right? Anyway, it looks like that is going to be it for the speed build. It just got real a couple of seconds ago, but anyway, that is going to be it for the speed builds, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here. Once again, please don't forget to hit that like, favorite, and subscribe button if you guys had fun watching this video, because it really helps out the channel a lot, okay? You all have an awesome day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.